Yeah, Guild Sealed League started yesterday at noon Cornfield time. I should update the stream decker. Trophies, alright. You ready to put some hats on some cards, chat? Ready to put some hats on it? Sign Tech, thank you very much for the 9-month resubscription there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. See, it's great. It wants a second land at some point, but like, even if we miss the second land, we get to go Marsh into Elf into Elf. This hand's actually a great example of one of the things people comment on this Elf list that I've been playing is we've cut the Nettle Sentinels to play 4 copies of Elves of Deep Shadow, and just like consider how bad this hand would be if these were Nettle Sentinels instead of Elves of Deep Shadow, right? Like missing the second land drop feels a little bit bad here, but it's definitely like more keepable because of the Deep Shadow. Kinda. I didn't actually spend money on the cards. It dipped into my ticket supply. So, my ticket supply gets too low, I have to spend money, which can be written off. Oh no, they keep putting hats on all my elves, chat. But that elf hurt me. Why would you put a hat on the elf that hurts me, Burn player? Yeah, like I said, when we originally made the change, I think Elves of Deep Shadow is a card that makes our average draw much better, but it makes our explosive draws slightly less explosive. But like, our explosive draws are already so good, it doesn't really matter if they're slightly less explosive. Yeah, I'm going to Columbus. I'm going to be playing Modern for my team and playing with Kent Ketter and Chris Van Meter. Yeah, we took 6 points out of the Burn player's hand, which is sweet for us. So we have to go ahead and play Dwynen's Elite here. If their last card's another Bolt, I feel a little bit bad. I'm not blocking with this. I'm just going to go ahead and get my point in here, I think. This is going upstairs. This Dwynen's Elite is definitely snap trading here. I think I'm using this as a gain 2 at this point. I think we're at 12. I have to take damage if I want to use the Elves of Deep Shadow as mana, so I definitely just want to hang tight here for a hot second. I'm going to play the Clancaller, I think, and hope to draw a land next turn. I'm not a big fan of the Devoted combo inside of Elves. Risk factor. Man, that's like an actual choice, isn't it? That's like, huh. Is this card actually bad? Like Browbeat is objectively bad, right? Like, we know that for sure. But like, the fact that this lets them turn a land into this effect again is like interesting. Like, I genuinely don't know what's better for me to do here, right? So like, the average damage output on giving them 3 cards is like 6, but it costs them mana to do so. But like, if I give them cards with this, they then are likely to get to jumpstart it again. I think I'm supposed to take the hit the first time and maybe give them cards the second time. I don't know. In my experience, Magic players tend to like write everything off very quickly and like not stop and think about it. That's true too. Instant versus sorcery is big. Sure, but like, you don't have to leave that card in when you don't have to leave that card in when you board in Bridge, right? Like, you're not obligated to have both of those in your deck at the same time. No, I don't think anything's too good for Modern. That's not true. Actually, I really don't think anything's too good for Modern. I think that currently exists for I think cantrips like Ancient Stirrings and card selection like Faithless Looting create redundant gameplay like Ponder and Preordain should be banned for that reason. But from a pure power level standpoint, no, I think it's all fine. No, we haven't cast the trophy yet. This is match one. That was match one, game one, Tannen. And this deck only has them in the sideboard. So Elves, for those who aren't familiar, we'd previously played 2 copies of Abrupt Decay and 1 Maelstrom Pulse in the sideboard. And I think playing 4 Assassin's Trophy is just much better than that. I've trimmed a Damping Sphere to fit the 4th one in, because Damping Sphere is primarily for Tron. So like, trophies are another card that this deck gets to play against Tron. The post-trophy Searing Blaze, yep. Yeah, ain't that the truth. I actually think if you expect Burn to be popular, then, if you expect Burn to be popular, Green-Black Rock's actually a great choice. The Green-Black Rock deck has a very reasonable Burn matchup. I'm playing out all of my dorks like this because I would like to cast Collecting Company next turn. And if I play Elvish Archdruid, my opponent's very likely to be able to kill the Elvish Archdruid, which means I then wouldn't be able to cast Company next turn unless I draw a land. Yep. There's the Searing Blaze that our Elvish Archdruid got to dodge. Nothing to see here, just no plays. Incredibly unlucky. I think so. Let me rephrase. I think the way most people have built green-black decks for a long time are very bad against Burn. I think the way the green-black rock deck that I've played on stream a bunch and is on my website is constructed, that we're going to play today, I think that iteration of green-black rock has a very good Burn matchup. I think people that continue to register the card Dark Confidant for some reason, because they're stuck in the year 2005, those people probably have an atrocious Burn matchup. The people that, for some reason, continue to not put 4 copies of Collective Brutality in their 75, those people probably have an atrocious Burn matchup. But for me, a reasonable person who has put 4 copies of all of the good cards in my green-black rock deck, and who has cut all of the terrible cards from my green-black rock deck, like Dark Confidant, that configuration has a very, very good Burn matchup. Do I want to Elvish Archdruid here and get these... I probably just want to get these Clancaller to 3/3s, right? I think I want to get the Clancallers to 3/3. Like, if I get the Clancallers to 3/3s, I could, like, cast it off of these, and then I smash for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's a chance I die on the backswing, though. There's no guarantee I hit another Lord. Oh, I could hit a Heritage Druid. Gosh, hitting Heritage Druid is really good. All right, let's spin to win. That's what we're here for, right? That's what the people want to see. All right, so just need to not die. We could die here. They have a Rift Bolt on suspend. They've got this Grim Boy in place, so kill me. They need 2 1 mana 3 damage spells. Yeah, they need exactly. Well, they could have Spike Bolt too, or like Shard Volley and stuff. But yeah, they need a pretty specific combination of cards there. Yep. Pretty happy. Run it back. Yep. The ever popular Am I Dead turn. Actually, you know what? Am I supposed to bring in one more trophy and like Trim and Ezuri here? That's maybe the case. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. They have Grim Lavamancer. People often ask me for good suggestions for budget-ish modern decks. This deck, if you replace the Horizon Canopy with another forest and the Cavern of Souls with unclaimed territories, is very cheap as far as modern deck goes. I believe it's just a couple $100 at most. Collected Company is the one card that's kind of dollar bills in it, and that's a card that translates to a lot of other places. It's not bad to pick up. You could even budget Palace with Overgrown Tomb. That card's getting reprinted. I don't know. If I could predict the future, I'd be doing something other than playing Magic the Gathering on the internet. I'd probably be on an island somewhere. Yeah, probably just dead here. This is their best possible start against us. We're gonna need them to brick off really hard here to have a chance. They just have like Goblin Guide into Searing Blaze. And this is you know, it's one of the things you do when you play a deck like this. This deck is people. Well, I think this deck is very powerful. This is not one of the decks that I'm considering for Columbus because this style of deck is very much these are my cards. This is what they do. They're either good enough and I win, or they're not good enough and I die. Captain Said I, thank you for the 13-month resubscription there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thank you for the over a year of support. Okay. Let's do this now. I don't have anything else to do here, really, so I guess I'm just attacking with this Heritage Druid. I could, like, tap all of these and play Elves at Deep Shadow, but I don't think that's worthwhile. I think I'd rather just smack them for 2. The fact that they're stuck on 2 lands could mean that a good company next turn lets us win the game, which is nice. Wow, that Helix on our guy is so good for us. This is actually very good for us because it means that if we can gum the board up next turn, we'll be in a good spot. Sweet. There's a Scavenging Ooze on top of my deck. Block there. Put some food in the bin for my dork. Elves of Deep Shadow. Play this tapped. Play this. Ooze is very good. That was a good addition to this sideboard. Card's great against the removal heavy decks too. And like, if they wanna attack in next turn, they have to like put another pooper in the bin for like my Ooze to get to gobble up. Well, trophy kills things like trophy kills things like Grim Lavamancer. Like, I'm not bringing in trophy just to kill Eidolon. If I was boarding in trophy just to kill Eidolon, that would make sense. I'm actually dead to double 3 here, right? Oh, maybe I should have blocked this with Spear. Yeah, I should have blocked this with Spear. Oh, they're bolting. They bolted the Ooze. That's so good for me. That's so good for me. You don't know which blessing is under which champion. That's one of the 2 pieces. The game's actually really low variance the way it works, and you don't know which champions are go under which things. All right, so I'm going to do this, and then I'm gonna do this, and then I cast this, and with this trigger on the stack, I'll cast Collected Company. We could actually kill them here. No, wait, I'm gonna be short of that. Modern doesn't have a metagame. So they have one card in hand. I just go like double Dwynen's Elite here, right? Then they should be dead next turn. Because I'm not going to get to gain health with the Scavenging. Oh, wait, I can gain health with the Scavenging Ooze. Because the Dwynen's Elite's going to make 2 bodies. Yeah, I get to go Dwynen's plus Scooze here. And then I get to gain 2, and that should lock it up. Gosh, that's good. And I'm not gonna do it right now because I can want to block both things. Skullcrack, sure. Yeah, being at 7 is really good. Because it means we're not dead to 3s. Yeah, sweet. That was a sweet game. I'm impressed that they had Guide into Searing Blaze on the play and we won. That's tough. That is good clean living. This deck's very good. Like I said, this deck is very much a these are my things good enough deck. But your things are good enough a lot of the time. Your things are good enough a lot of the time. And I really like if you're playing in a metagame full of a lot of interactive decks, Lead the Stampede and Collected Company are cards that can bury the interactive decks very easily. And actually, if you're playing in a more linear, like you expect more linear decks and like less green black and less blue white and stuff like that, you could board the Lead the Stampedes in like main deck trophies or Scooze or Rec Sage or something like that. But I'm a pretty big fan of Stampede in the main. Every deck on the docket today has Assassin's Trophy in it. I have acquired four copies, and we are going to play them all day. So, I'm someone who as a whole really isn't a huge fan of the card Collected Company, but this is definitely my favorite Collected Company deck because this is just a critical mass deck. So, and we have so many creatures that you're very likely to get 2 cards. And basically, ATC is going to be good enough with your Collected Company in this deck. This deck isn't like those crappy Devoted Company decks where you're hoping to hit very specific cards with your Collected Company and hoping your Collected Company does a Demonic Tutor impersonation. In this deck, we're fine just like, yeah, that's fine. Just like any 2 elves is good. Just like, give me 2 idiots. Our one-landers are not paying off here so far today. Our elves keep getting bolted. I think it's fair to talk about the old draw step path, sure. This is really good on the opponent's part. They're playing blue-white controller, obviously, so their goal is to just slow us down. So like making our development slow down a lot so they can have time to play to the board is very good for them. Yeah, they knew that Llanowar Elves was on top of our deck, so they were pretty happy to give that to us. What deck am I most excited to play today? Abzan Tokens. The Abzan Tokens deck is currently my top pick for Columbus, and I'm excited to either play with it some more and continue to be excited to play it, or to get reps in and realize that it's bad. Mana Leak, my Druid, sure. The Abzan Tokens deck, when we've played it, has felt like it has similar parallels to the Black-Green Rock deck, while also having a really good nut draw. Also, people love feel smart decks, just like myself, and the Abzan Tokens deck is like really good against decks like blue-white because you just have a pile of planeswalkers. So, Scouty, I'm gonna give you a break because I think comments like that are just noise. Like, sure, getting swept on my board full of creatures would have been bad there, but like bringing that up isn't really helpful if we don't have a way to play around it. And this is the type of deck where you're just asking the question, are my things good enough? And if your things are good enough, that's great, and you kill them. And if they're not, you die. And that's just how this deck works. That's how aggressive decks like this work. You pick and choose positions where you're able to play around things and when you're not. And sometimes you are, and it's great. And a lot of the time you can't, and you just like hope they don't have it. I plan to main deck 4 copies of Trophy in the Abzan deck. I'm gonna cut the Path to Exiles to the sideboard, I think. That's not what I said. I never said you should never consider. What I said was there are positions where you can afford to beat things, and there are positions where you can't. And the difference between a good aggro player and a mediocre aggro player is that they can spot the differences. They understand when they have the tools to be able to beat a sweeper, and they understand when they just need to be like, really hope you don't have this, let's kill you. So I feel like they don't have another path. If I hit them to 9 here, I can probably still kill them next turn, right? Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and swing 2 of these into Teferi and then 2 into them. No, I don't think we're supposed to ignore Tef here. I think the difference between them being at 9 and 5 is pretty marginal, and I'd rather just take the Teferi off the table. Elves was always above you, Justin. You'll be second, don't worry. You put your deck to 100. Elves has constantly been above that. Or was already at 100 when you bumped your thing, though, the other day. I think most of these blue-white decks are playing a bunch of copies of Terminus. So I think holding that collecting company is a pretty big mistake. I think this is a game where I'm just like, do you have Terminus? If yes, I lose. If not, let's kill you. Are they dead through this? They might be dead through this on the back of the Shaman of the pack here. Fireball you. Attack with my dorks. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, so this is a Thoughtseize, Assassin's Trophy, Reclamation Sage matchup. I actually don't think Ezuri is good enough here because they have what's it called? I do not want a Damping Sphere because they have Terminus as their primary sweeper. What do I want to trim? So I'm at 66 cards here. Maybe I don't want all 4 Assassin's Trophy in this matchup. That's probably the case. Shaman of the Pack's pretty good because it's an individually powerful threat. Probably trim Clancaller here. She finds more friends, but she's also pretty lackluster on her own, and she's a 2-mana elf. I could also see an argument for Thoughtseize not being good enough here. This is kind of okay for poking through their stuff. Yeah, maybe Rex Sage isn't good enough. Yeah, I could see that. Let's just leave a couple of Clancallers and board out the Rex Sages. Yeah, I like Thoughtseize too. This leaves me 30 creatures to hit with Stampede and Collected Company. Let's do this. Well, Clancaller, if we untap with her, is card advantage. She finds a second Clancaller. So I think leaving 2 Clancallers in is better than leaving 2 Ezuris in. I could be wrong on that though. This hand's great. We get to go elf into elf. It is a green-black kind of day. We've got 4 copies of Assassin's Trophy and I'm here to use them. And like the Collected Company is an absurd draw here too, because this is a game where there's a good chance we can beat a sweeper, because even if they clear the board, we're gonna have a bunch of follow-up to generate card advantage. That was a good draw. They're able to use more mana than typical decks. So the reason why, and this is how you need to evaluate when your Assassin's Trophies are good. Blue-white is a deck where they have very specific cards that generate very large amounts of card advantage, and their deck is much, much worse when they don't have those cards online. So Assassin's Trophy, keeping a card like Jace or Teferi off the table at the cost of a 1-for-1 basically is very, very good for us. So this is arguably one of their better starts as far as slowing us down goes, and we're still in a pretty reasonable spot here. They need mana leak on this or path here, and if they path here, that's still pretty okay for me. You can always view the deck queue on my website, bit.ly/deck queue or jeffhoagland.com in the navigation menu at the top. To answer your question, I don't remember. There's like 50 decks in the queue still. Sure. This is definitely just going to be a Collected Company turn. Hopefully hit a Lord and then smash them. They bolted our bird and then cleared both of our cards on their turn 3, and this is our board state on turn 4. So like, and I have these in my hand. If they this is a point where if they hit another Terminus, we're gonna be pretty far behind. But if they don't hit another Terminus this turn, they're probably dead. I guess they could have land verdict too, but they are in a lot of trouble. No, I don't think drawing here is right, Pikes. I think I currently have an advantage on board and I want to pressure my advantage. I don't think I had enough things in play to warrant doing this versus the Collected Company. I wanted to add more things into play to like demand that they have more pressure basically. So now I'm going to lead the Stampede, I think. And then probably just attack for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Although I guess if they have like a Snapcaster Mage or a Path to Exile here, like the Snap doesn't work because this is Oust, not Path. Are they debating on if they want to burn a soft counter on this? Maybe they have a negate or something. You have a mana leak maybe? I can currently make 7 mana. Even when this card is just like green divination that guarantees draw creatures, it's very good. Look at that. Look at that, draw 3. Don't mind if it does. No, I'm just doing this, right? This is 7. This is 13, right? So then the Shaman of the pack is just like lethal for 1 next turn. And I don't need to cast Shaman this turn. I really don't want to cast Shaman into a counter spell. Like they could have Mana Leak here. Or even Ghost Quarter themselves Logic Knot. Where's his hat? He demands a hat! He demands a hat! I completely forgot, Nivik. I completely forgot. I'm sorry. I can do it tomorrow. I can definitely have it live for tomorrow. I was a bad nerd and ended up dicking around playing Warhammer last night. Alright, so they hit the sweeper. And again, this is what makes Terminus so good, right? Don't be an idiot and play Verdicts over Terminuses in your deck. Like, if they had a Verdict here, we'd be super, super okay. But because they have Terminus that only costs them 1 mana, they're in a great spot. Why not jam Coco? Why should I jam Coco? What's the upside there? We're like trying to hit one of our last Shaman of the packs for lethal. Maybe that's fine. Maybe I'm supposed to try and force lethal with the company. We're timelying just to gain health. Sure. Well, now, remember, you don't have to cast your instance at instant speed. You can cast your instance on your turn. Don't be afraid to cast your spells on your turn. Sure, but the punish is if I miss there, I lose my card advantage, Seth. If I miss, I lose my card advantage. And again, Terminus just like showing its power here. That's their 3rd Terminus game. Also, again, I'd like to reflect that, like, my creature deck has been Terminus 3 times this game, and we're still playing a game of Magic, thanks to Collected Company and Lead the Stampede. So let this resolve before I cast my Collected Company here. Poor free nerds. That card's hopefully going to be too slow. All right, so they need to impact the board again this turn, or they're gonna die next turn. I guess they could have a counter spell too, like Cryptic Command or something. Yes, they've had 3 in the top quarter of their deck even. They'd only seen like 15 cards when they played that 3rd Terminus. So they kind of paused like they had a Cryptic Command when they activated this, so I wouldn't be too surprised to get Crypticed here. Yeah, maybe I'm supposed to attack first there if my read is Cryptic. That's probably a mistake on my part. I'm probably supposed to attack first there. I think that was a mistake on my part. Also, I'd like to point out that we've drawn almost as many lands as them and we're still in this game. Actually, we've drawn exactly as many lands as them, right? They've drawn 4 and we've drawn 4. Would attacking first always be better? No, if they have settled the wreckage, they could settle my board and get rid of a bunch of my elves. And then I don't drain them for nearly as much. So settle the wreckage is a real card that punishes there. It's probably going to be lights out. They had, you know, 3 paths and 3 terminuses and oust and enough porphyry nodes. That's fine. We get to play the last game on the play. I don't know. Like I said, I think I should have sequenced differently because of the way they paused at the end of turn with the Azcanta. Oh yeah, they're fate sealing. They bottom. They put a card on top. All right, let's draw this, I guess, just to see what they're doing. But I assume we're dead here. Yeah. So move along with my life. Yeah, I think Jason's good enough. So the blue-white matchup is tough when they draw 3 copies of Terminus and 15 cards. Weird. Let's run it back. I'm pretty happy with what we got going on here. Opinions on the counters and the icons. I think the idea of the counters and the icons is great. I think the fact that they look like they were done by an intern in MS Paint is not great, but on par for everything else Magic Online has going on. It doesn't like the 3rd sweeper. We were gonna dumpster them through 2 sweepers. Through 2 sweepers, they were deader than a doornail. The third sweeper did us in, though. The third 1-mana sweeper too, right? Like if the sweeper, if any of their sweepers had cost more than 1 mana, they probably wouldn't have been good enough. Like if they had cast 3 4-mana sweepers, we probably would have destroyed them still. Is it a mulligan? If I just like draw a land on 2, I get to, I'm gonna keep this. The Assassin's trophies aren't amazing, but like the rest of the hand, like this 5 is pretty good. Like this 6 is reasonable even. I don't think this is a mulligan. Yeah, against a path deck too is a very real consideration. I like how our entire hand is not just elves, but elf druids. I think this hand is just fine, actually. Like, if I hit a land, this hand has 8 power in play on turn 2. Like, obviously, we'd prefer if these were different, but I think the other cards we have are great. How about I disable the record command? It's been broken for the last day. Can a mod look up how I disable the record command? Burgle, did you watch the second game we just played, or did you just get here? We literally were going to beat them through double Terminus, and they drew a 3rd Terminus in their top 15 cards. You should go back and watch the second game. I think you'd be really impressed with this deck and its ability to play through sweepers. I think this deck actually plays through sweepers really well. It has a lot of card advantage in it. Some of your hands can't beat sweepers, but a lot of your hands can give sweepers a run for their money. We didn't get pathed here. What did they keep? They just keep a handful of counter spells. Just gonna like die to this Cavern of Souls. That would be great. They have an oust maybe. Any reason to not leave trophy up there? Why would I leave trophy up? I wanna attack them. Straver, thank you for the 7-month resubscription there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. This is a game where we can't beat a sweeper. So we're not gonna try. Magic's a skill game. So like I said, I think we got pretty unfortunate in that second game, and then this was a game where the way our cards lined up, we just weren't gonna be able to beat a Terminus. No, Burgle, the way blue-white plays now, it's just like pure variance, just like every other deck in Modern. And they don't play sweepers. They have Terminus, because it's so much better. It's much, much better. How are we doing, folks? Welcome, good morning. Welcome to Assassin's Trophy Friday. My name is Jeff Hogan. I'm a full-time streamer and content producer here on Twitch. We're hanging out, playing all sorts of Modern decks today, the green-black theme. If you're enjoying my content, please consider subscribing to my channel. My subscribers are the people that keep me employed here full-time. I wouldn't be here day in and day out without their very wonderful support. Past subscribing to my channel, you can also support my stuff by checking out some of my very wonderful sponsors. Cardsphere.com. Love to help you turn some of your cards into other cards direct to the other players. There's no haggling. They just take 1% fee off the top. InkedGaming.com. Would love to help you customize your gaming experience. Using code Jeff12, you can save 12% on custom playmats, mousepads, binders, and bags there. Cool stuff. Inc.com buys and sells a lot of cool stuff, including TCG singles. Using promo code Jeff5, you can save 5% on Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh cards with them. And of course, this stream just wouldn't be possible without viewers like Anaronix, Justin Nivik, and all y'all out there. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. We're 1-1 with Elves after beating Burn and then losing a close set to Blue-White. And just like going back to Terminus, Terminus has done for Blue-White what every good Modern deck in the history of Modern has had. Terminus gives Blue-White a nut draw. It gives it the ability to have this card that's just unbeatable for a portion of the Modern field that gives you these free wins to make up for the losses you're going to take for playing Blue-White. And that's a very good thing for that archetype. Huh, I don't think I've played this matchup since this deck's become popular. We'll see how this goes. This is just gonna be this is probably just a race. I guess if they have Walking Ballista, they get to interact with us. I'd imagine if they don't have Walking Ballista, this matchup's probably not bad for us. Well, this deck can cast Assassin's Trophy. I feel like it makes more sense in the sideboard. Yeah, Snarky, that's why it's in the sideboard. Please be informed and take a look at the deck list that I've taken time to provide on the screen for you before commenting. I appreciate that. I do a lot of work. Please do the courtesy of doing a small bit of work yourself before commenting. Well, that's a great draw. Get to go Elf into Elves. And to activate my Archdruid, cast my Dwynen's Elite. Actually, do I want to attack with this Mystic? I probably want to attack with this Mystic, right? Alright, that was just Divination. We kind of need some more help here at this point. I'm not sure what we have on board is going to be enough to beat their board. We kind of need some more critical mass. We have Horizon Canopy as a redraw next turn, which is nice. If you are on a format that doesn't have the deck list on screen, you can type !deck in chat to get a link to the deck list. You can also find links to the deck lists below the stream. Lots of ways to help you help yourself. Lots of great ways. Our divination only drew 2. If this is a walking ballista, we're probably dead if we don't draw really well here. Not looking good for our hero, chap. I agree that Assassin's Trophy is probably not amazing in Standard. The drawback of getting a land in the format of where people are curving out to 5 and 6 consistently is a big deal. Whereas in Legacy, in Modern, curves tend to be lower to the ground, so people are a little bit less likely to be able to punish you for giving them an extra land. I'm not even sure that this is good enough, honestly. I don't think it is. Yeah, I think we're pretty good here. We're 1-1 in this league. The record command is broken, so it's disabled. You're fine. No need to apologize. It's possible for you to know that it's broken. I'm gonna be saying the record out loud a lot today because it's broken. So I definitely want Sages. Do I want all the trophies? Maybe I don't want all the trophies on the play. I'm just gonna leave 2 in on the play and trim the Stampedes. I am not running for office, Curdy. I like my job here. So I think having the record on my overlay would add value to the stream. I also think that I'm only one person. I'm already doing 6 things while I'm streaming, so I am aware of the fact that I will miss updating the record on my stream. And 1, I don't really want to add clutter, and 2, I'm gonna miss it enough that it's just gonna be annoying anyways. Just like one more thing that I have to remember to do. I actually legally can't run for president in 2020. I'm not old enough for that. It's in your Discord settings, Giant Jankobot. So you need to log into your Discord account on a desktop computer and then go into your linked accounts there. I only look like a grumpy old man. Is it 35 or 40 for president? I think one of the houses, I don't even think I can run for a house, right? It's 40 for president, right? It's like 30, it's 35. It's 35 for Senate. Is it 30 for representatives, the lower house? It's been a while since I've taken a class like that. It's 25 for house. Okay. It's 35 for both. I thought they were in increments. But I definitely don't know offhand, so I'm not gonna profess to. 35, gosh, you're so old, Tannen. We just spin to win here, right? I mean, I'm definitely American. I'm just not an informed American. This is actually a tough... This is just Archdruid, right? It's Rec-Sage. Do I double Lord? Really? You want to double Lord? I kind of want to kill this. You won the games from which side, Daniel? From the Hardened scale side? I feel like I gotta take this off the table. Yeah, I think it's Rec-Sage Archdruid here. From the Elves side. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I wasn't sure how this could go. I think the Elves is definitely a very good linear deck, but I think we're definitely behind in the games where they have Walking Ballista, but they don't have Walking Ballista every game. No, I just want to take their threat off the table. The Hardened Scales doesn't really matter if I kill all their stuff. Like, the Hardened Scales matter in games that are going long. This game is not going long. Like, even if they shoot this next turn, I'm just gonna go, like, Elvish Clancaller Shaman of the pack, kill you. It's funny, so, like, the people discussing, there's people in chat claiming this matchup is hard for both sides of the board. It reminds me, there was a thread on the Modern Magic subreddit where people were comparing notes on the blue-red tempo versus Hardened Scales matchup, and there were people in both sides of that thread that were like, this matchup's impossible for my deck. And it was just like, well, that's clearly not true for both of you. Yeah, and honestly, in my experience playing a ton of Magic, if people are confused which side of a matchup is good or bad, that means one of two things. That either means most people haven't played it enough, or two, the matchup is very close and probably pretty skill testing. Dismember is really brutal here, because it means they get to kill, well, that, you know, spin to win. Spin to win. Yahtzee! I would just like the record to reflect that the WotC lawyers have requested that I say that Magic is nothing like gambling. They are two completely unrelated things, Magic and gambling. Can we get a spin to win emote? What does a spin to win emote look like? Where is his hat? Why are my creatures not getting hats? My elves are hardworking Magic cards just like the rest of them, and they deserve hats just like all the other Magic cards. You should yell WotC instead of Yahtzee. A roulette wheel? Yeah, maybe I'll ask my guy to do some mock-ups for us this weekend, I think. A vote for Hoaglandia is a vote for hats. Would you believe that there are people that register elves in Modern that don't put this card in their deck? That is incredible to me. It is amazing to me that there are people that register elves in Modern and don't register this Magic card. Listen, there's a lot of players who I respect as good Magic players that also are currently registering blue-white control without 4 copies of Terminus in it. And it doesn't make them a bad Magic player, but it just means however they're evaluating things feels off to me. Alright, so on the draw in this matchup, I probably can't trim Ezuri, huh? Is Clancaller, do I want more trophies on the draw? Do I want more trophies on the draw? I feel like I want a touch more spot removal on the draw. I don't know. I'm gonna take the coward's way out. Let's go 3-3 here. Clancaller's like kind of medium, because it's like a 2-mana spell that... It's a 2-mana spell that dies to Walking Ballista for 1 counter, which sucks. I actually really like Hieroglyphic Illumination, the blue-white deck, for what it's worth. Gamer. The list on my site, I believe, currently has 4 copies of Opt and 2 Illumination. I don't think Illumination is better than Opt, but I do think that Illumination is better than Serum Visions to set a bar that's low. Yes. Yeah, we played Jeskai with 4 Terminus on stream pretty recently, and I think if you're registering Colonnade as a control deck in Modern and not registering 4 Terminus, you're doing yourself a disservice. Yeah, I picked up all my trophies. I appreciate the people offering though. Do I kill this Overseer? How do I feel about kill this Overseer into company next turn? I don't want to trophy it. I don't want to trophy it now. I think I want to trophy it on their upkeep. Oh, it gives them the land untapped. Oh, this isn't Path to Exile. They get the land untapped regardless. I think I'm just going to do it, though. Just going to get this out of here. So the problem with trophying when I did was that now they can play Walking Ballista for 2 here. Oh, it's just a Hanger Backwalker. Deal. Deal, Areno. And then I'm going to company... Well, that was a good draw. So I did this now because I could hit Rec Sage to kill this before they power it up, which would be ideal. They're at 19. I have 6 elves in play. The Shaman will be a drain for 7 next turn, plus a smash should get us pretty close to lethal. That's pretty good. Even without Walking Ballista here, that's gonna buffer their health total a good bit. Just by like allowing them to block with the Hanger Backwalker. Would you believe that there are people who register elves who aren't playing this card? Can you believe that? There are people who register elves who aren't playing Shaman of the Pact. I didn't count, but it's not my job to count. I'm not the one blocking. Moto will figure it out. Just gotta believe. They go block here, block here. They're actually going to 1, right? Now that I'm counting. It's actually not lethal. They get to animate this. They go block, block, power this up. So they're gonna gain 3. I'm going to lose this elf, and this will go to a 2-2, and they'll take 6 and go to 1. I love how Control is suddenly playable and there's just Magic players everywhere that are like, oh no, are they gonna ban my Termini? They're gonna take it away. They're gonna take it away. To be completely fair though, I guess the last time a Control deck was pretty playable in Modern, it was called Splinter Twin, and that deck got banned. Yeah, they're going to 1 here. I'm losing Dwynen's Elite, and they're going to 1. It's interesting that they traded the Hangerback Walker there. That seems strange to me, because the Hangerback Walker represents a good amount of life gain with the Basilisk color. Why isn't the minus counter red? Why isn't the minus counter red? No, Webster agrees with me. It's Termini. Red-green color blindness. Okay, that's interesting. That's a real thing, right? It's good to know. Make things accessible. They see that's a good reason. Honestly, we should probably have a setting and a thing in the settings to customize it, but we won't talk about that. Saying Terminus doesn't win games of Magic is like saying turn 3 Karn doesn't win games of Magic. While it's technically true that neither card reduces your health total to 0, both of those cards very much win games of Magic the Gathering. And I think that's a distinction that falls short on a lot of people. Just because a card doesn't literally reduce your health total to 0 or make you move to the next game doesn't mean that that card doesn't win the game on the spot. And some of these cards, honestly, turn 3 Karn and Terminus, they're more cruel than Splinter Twin in a way, because with Splinter Twin, you can't argue that you're dead when it kills you. With turn 3 Karn and Terminus, they allow you to sit there and be miserable if you want for like another 4 to 5 turns before your opponent actually kills you. Whereas Splinter Twin does you the decency of like, hey idiot, you're dead, let's go to the next game. Like, at least Splinter Twin has the decency to actually kill me. Turn 3 Karn just like, nope, he's just like, nah, dog, you can spin your tires and try, I believe in you. Bajuka Bog. So, likely Amulet Titan, which is probably an okay matchup for us. Again, I feel like this deck is pretty reasonable in the matches that just require you to go fast. Oh, you know what? I punted here. I should have bottomed this. I just autopiloted into thinking this was a mana dork and I was going to be able to go elf this turn. This doesn't make green mana. So this should have been bottomed. It's working out okay here. Tron with main deck Bajuka Bog. I think I'm going to lead the Stampede here. We're pretty likely to hit a 1-mana elf off of it. And by that, I mean I can't play a 1-mana elf. That's... The clan has been called, chat. You could argue that we have found the entire Elvish clan. Black Tron, okay? Filgry Familiar, okay? Again, would you believe people play this deck without this card? I don't get it. I don't get it, chat. Am I supposed to attack for 3 here or go Clancaller? I think I'm just supposed to attack for 3 because like there's a non-zero chance they have like a damnation in their deck. I think we might be dead, chat. Needed a little bit faster of a start. Double Lord wouldn't have done anything there because the Elvish Clancallers would have only been 4/4s. So I would have lost my entire board if I would have played Double Lord there. I'm just gonna swap the Stampedes for trophies. Obviously, I don't know like exactly what the opponent's deck is doing, but I think the fact that I'm more inclined to think they're like mono blue Tron, and that they're less likely to want to lean into Tron. So I think actually maybe I want the Stampedes because they're grindy. I don't actually know what we're doing here. Believe it or not, this isn't a matchup I have notes for. They could just be a grindy control deck. I definitely agree with that assessment. Just like don't worry about their Tron at all. Yeah, maybe I just like bring the Thoughtseizes in for the Ezuris. Just like don't worry about Tron in the slightest. We've got plenty of Clancallers. My favorite part about playing with and against tier 4 decks is when everybody tells me like what the tier 4 deck typically does. It's like, guess what? This Black Tron list is probably pretty unique. Because Black Tron's not really a thing. We're just going to try and get under them. We failed to do that last game. We're going to try and do that this game. Yeah, I think bringing in Trophy was wrong. I think I should have just left, should have just stayed the course there. They killed Heritage Druid. Yes. Yes, you did. All right, let's just kill them before they get to 4 here, ideally. Because Modern is a format where there's 50 playable decks. And you shouldn't, when your one pet deck doesn't show up in the results for a week or two, that's probably because people were playing one of the other 50 playable decks at the tournaments there. When there's 50 decks that are playable, not every deck can top 8 every tournament. The deck is more than reasonable. A lot of people overvalue the idea of metagaming, especially in relation to Modern. The idea that you can metagame allows people to feel smart rather than just like being honest with themselves and admitting like there's a lot of stuff in Modern and you can't metagame and you can't be predictive. You just need to have a plan and be proactive. Cian's really good with a second land. Yes, exactly. It's why Modern is great and why peep players who fancy themselves professionals tend to dislike it. Not really. You just need generic good plans against a variety of things. I'm not saying don't have a plan. What I am saying is, if you only have a plan for 4 decks and nothing against anything else, you're going to have a real bad time. Turn those little green men sideways. Thanks for the bits. And Krabots Raven, thank you very much for the 2-month resub there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Trying to predict what they're going to do with the Modern, banned, and restricted list is a recipe for sadness and disappointment. They're never going to do what you think they're going to do, so just don't Don't try and be predictive. I will tweet out my pick for the day like I do every day. So for those of you that aren't aware, on my website, which is a great resource for everything modern related that we do here on this channel, I pick a favorite deck every day. There's a favorite leagues button on the top navigation of my website. Honestly, Watsy might finally unban Stoneforge to spite you for finally creating an emote. Don't worry. I've got a Splinter Twin behind bars on speed dial in the event that they unban Stoneforge Mystic. Hey, look, now they have Tron and I have Lead the Stampedes instead of Assassin's Trophies. Although I wouldn't be able to cast Trophy here, right? I think we're dead. Any big play is pretty good here. We just, like, they killed our first 2 mana creatures, which was a great play from them. And then we just haven't really been able to recover. Haven't picked up any more cards that generate mana for us. It's like anything that costs like 6 or more mana here is probably lights out. Nah, letting people vote for things that they want to happen ends up with all sorts of terrible things happening in the world. This channel's a dictatorship or bought and paid for a reason. Yeah, letting Magic players vote for things they wanted to happen is how Blood Moon came into Modern, so it's the community's fault. Never forget. Yep, that's a great use of 7 colorless mana. Yep. Yep, that is, yep, you got me. Yeah, so during 8th and 9th edition, they let players vote on what cards they wanted to appear in those sets, and the community voted Blood Moon into 8th edition. You just play something that lets me concede, please. That doesn't actually make me concede, right? I think we're actually, like, still playing Magic here. They need, like, a sweeper to go along with it, right? I think we're in a beats. I think we are currently in a beats Ulamog position. We don't play Nettle Sentinel because in my experience, Nettle Sentinel is a card that makes your best draws better while making your average draws worse. So my goal when building a Magic deck isn't to maximize just my good draws, it's to make my average draws reasonable. And playing more mana creatures, like Elves of Deep Shadow, makes the average draw my deck can produce much better because I have more consistency with my turn 1 accelerants. Whereas Nettle Sentinel makes your Heritage Druid starts very, very good. Your Heritage Druid starts are almost always good in this deck. So like maximizing a draw that's almost always good doesn't make sense in my opinion. All right. Are they dead on board? I mean, if they weren't dead on board before, they should be dead on board now. Do I count? Am I supposed to count? It's not my job to count, right, chat? It's not my job to count. It's not. Oh, we could get another Clancaller too. Forgot about that. My Clancaller was summoning sick. This is a tap ability, so can't be used while it's summoning sick. We're 3-1 in this league. Assassin's Trophy hasn't been relevant. This isn't a deck where I was assuming it was going to have a super large impact, but I do think that Trophy's a good upgrade over both Abrupt Decay and Maelstrom Pulse in the sideboard. Just hits a wider range of things. Yeah, we're 3-1 in this league with a close loss to Blue-White Control. We've only been playing for an hour and 15 minutes. It's one of the many good decks that's good to farm stuff with on Moto if you're up for that kind of thing. After this league, we've got a Sultai Delve deck that we're going to be diving into a league with. That's a mid-range deck playing 4 trophies in the main and some Snapcaster Mages. We've got lots of other green-black decks. The rest of the decks we're playing today, I believe, are all playing trophies in the main. That's my goal here. My goal here is to help you see how cards function before you have to pick them up and play them. It's the least I can do for the community that gives me my job. There is a Delve link in that tweet Azintoth. If I click here and I click this, it opens a tweet that has 4 deck lists in it. And there's a Sultai Delve list right there. So that is functional. Working as intended. It is a feature, not a bug. Which decks? Give me specifics. Engage in a discussion. Don't just come in here and tell me I'm wrong. Give me an example of where you want Maelstrom Pulse that is better than Assassin's Trophy while costing more mana. Yeah, the Delve list looks awesome. Basically getting to play 8 Tarmogoyf seems great. That's what the Delve list basically does. It's like a little bit more aggressive than Green Black Rock because it gets to play Goyf plus Delve threats with Thought Scour to power everything together. We're not going to be doing Standard this weekend, but I have a bunch of Standard donation decks in the queue. By bunch, I mean 4. So we're going to have one all Standard day next week. And if you are somebody who wants to see Standard content on this channel with some consistency, not all Standard, we're still going to be primarily Modern, but if you want to see me occasionally do Standard and accept Standard donation decks, you're going to want to make sure you're here and watch the replays for the Standard videos, because my decision for whether or not I continue to do more Standards is going to be based on the numbers that those 4 decks that I have in the queue receive. I think Creeping Tar Pit is one of the best creature lands in Modern. If you can afford to play 4, you should play 4. The Green-Black Elves list in the queue is linked to the primary one on my website. Yeah, I'm probably going to update it to this. The trophies just seem like a reasonable slot in. Spire Golem out of the board in blue-red. Is that the Affinity for Islands card? Why would you want that? Where would you want it? It's like a 2/4. That sounds really mediocre. I think Assassin's Trophy is better. Well, for starters, this deck doesn't really want too many Doomblades against humans. This deck is already good against humans. This deck outlinears humans very reasonably. I also don't think you want to be bringing in a bunch of... I don't board in any of my removal spells against Pyromancer with this deck. That's not what the Pyromancer matchup is about. If you're bringing in removal spells against Mardu Pyromancer with this deck, you're not understanding your role in that matchup. Your role against Mardu Pyromancer with this aggro deck is to kill them. To get them dead. Yes, this deck kind of snowballs and runs over other tribal decks because it just linears harder than most of the other tribal decks do. How dead's this Archdruid? Pretty dead? Scale of 1 to dead? Where are we at here? What are we working with? Does he have a pulse? He's dead, Jim. He's dead. Untapped land, please. Untapped land. I mean, like, that's you know, I can work with that. I can work with that. Unmoored Ego probably goes in. It's probably worthwhile in the board of any fair decks that can produce black and blue mana. What? All right. Sure. Sure. Resolves? I guess? But like, why, again, like, the decks that play those cards, Moradov, you don't want removal spells against. Like, the cards you're naming aren't matches where you should be bringing in Maelstrom Pulse. Nothing to see here, just incredibly unlucky and clicked through my attack step, moving too fast. They suspended Greater Gargadon. Are they, they must be an As Foretold deck, right? Can you explain why Ego is better than their cards of similar effect? Yeah, it is a hits lands 3 mana. The hits lands is a big deal. The reason why Cranial Extraction's effects have often come up short in the past is because they could be casting a Restore Balance in response here. The reason why those type of effects have come up short in the past is they can't name Tron lands, they can't name Valakut. You like the sick read on the Restore Balance deck? So I get to float mana here, discard down to 1 card, and then make that card be Collected Company. The problem here is they only have 1 card in their hand, so like I have to discard down to just Collected Company here. So like that's gonna be their Gargadon at 6 and their As Foretold and their 1 card versus versus whatever my company gets. Looking for a mana creature or two here. Actually, I'm just gonna get these and try and kill them. Drain you for 3, have 6 power. Maybe isn't Toth. That's a deck that really cares about resource efficiency. So I don't. Maybe I mean explicitly blue-black decks that don't have access to Alpine Moon, because Alpine Moon's pretty good at attacking mana decks. I mean, if we get restored next turn, we'll just concede, move on with our lives. Like, not a big deal. They restore balance, so you triple your board power, right? Are you dead, Jit? Excellent. All right, so this is definitely a Thoughtseize matchup. Is this a wet ball matchup? What do we think of this? It's definitely not a Lead the Stampede or Ezuri matchup. Honestly, Trophy and Decay have been very similar per sip. I wasn't expecting this deck to get a huge change from Decay to Trophy. I think Trophy is an easy upgrade, but I think it's just like not that big of an upgrade for this deck. This deck isn't a deck that has a hard time with things like delve cards, right? This is a deck that what's the word I'm struggling to say? Extract plus discard is just very narrow when I don't have that much discard in my deck. Yeah, we get to go wide around those types of cards. And again, like people talking about Maelstrom Pulse in this deck isn't bringing in removal against fair decks a lot of the time. This deck isn't bringing in removal against other creature decks. You just beat those decks by going big around them or draining through them with your thing. Whatever that thing's called. I might need to Thoughtseize next turn. Hopefully they kill my Elvish Mystic to make my decision easy. We are 3-1 in this league, with the one loss being an exceedingly close loss where we got triple Terminist and 15 cards. Suspend a Gargadon. Yeah, I think I'm pretty obligated to Thoughtseize here. Hopefully we draw 1 or 2 mana elf. Perfect. This is the 5th match in this current league. Well, their hand is poop once we take this card away. That was a great Thoughtseize. So their pause there was them trying to decide, did they want to suspend Gargadon or pitch Spirit Guide, play as Foretold, play AV? And we really punished them for the choice that they made. Why is Decay better against Chalice per sip? Are people putting Chalice on 2? Like, if someone puts Chalice on 2 against you, you're super happy, right? Yeah, that's a permanent ban. What they said there was a permanent ban. If they said something like that earlier, that's allowed to be a permanent ban right off the back. It just that's true. There aren't a lot of good Chalice decks in Modern either. So like I think just kill them is a very reasonable answer. This is, again, you kind of got to pick your battles. Can I beat a sweeper? Can I not? I have, what, 3, 9, I have 11 power in play here. So, like, I play this out, and now I start pressuring them. Big Eyes, thank you very much for that brand new Twitch Prime support. I know there's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch. Thanks for supporting mine with that. I appreciate it. All right, they have Spirit Guide, and then 2 cards I don't know. Teferi, Jace the Mind Sculptor. I think Trophy is reasonable to bring in a couple copies against blue-white. Suspend, Restore Balance. Yep. This must mean they have another one in their hand, right? I feel like they wouldn't suspend this year if they didn't have another one, because they want to give themselves the out of drawing as Foretold, right? Red Fox MD, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime support there. I appreciate that. Welcome. Can you resub from mobile? On Android, you can resub using Twitch Prime. On iOS, you have to question your life decisions. You can also subscribe from mobile on iOS by using this in your mobile browser. This deck is very good. Hey, on the stacks with the 3-month resub. Thank you very much and welcome back. Oh my gosh, chat. We have custom notifications coming. Streamlabs is hooking me up. And I got to see a sample of what they're going to look like yesterday. And they are fantastic. I am super excited for the new notifications we're going to have. Should hopefully have them early next week. Quest Dove, thank you for the 7-month resub. Thanks for re-upping those Bezo bucks again here and keeping me employed. I appreciate that. I don't have a demo of them myself. They just showed them to me on a screen share. So if they play as Foretold, I don't have the option to kill it before they do their thing. They get priority after their spell resolves. So if they drew as Foretold and they had Restore Balance, I can't kill it before they balance me. Green-Black Elves. This is a deck we played a bunch on stream before. This main deck's been this main deck since Elvish Clancaller got printed. I think this main deck is very good. I think the sideboard is pretty trim. I've previously, before Assassin's Trophy, we had 2 copies of Abrupt Decay and 1 Maelstrom Pulse and a 4th Detention Sphere in the sideboard. And I think just for Assassin's Trophy is a good upgrade there. I think it's going to give you... The Tron matchup can be kind of close sometimes. I think having 7 cards to Stone Rain them there is going to be excellent. I think Trophy getting to come in against blue-white to occasionally unlock things from Detention Spheres and kill their Planeswalkers can help you out. I think the Surgicals are fine. I think there's a reasonable number of graveyard decks in Modern where Surgical is decent. I also think Surgical is good against Storm in this deck specifically, because this is a deck where Storm needs to go off quickly to race you, and Surgical Extraction is able to disrupt their gifts piles, which is nice. There's only one way to find out, Zins. So yeah, so I'm actually going to update the list on my website for Elves to match this after after I'm done streaming today, which isn't going to be for a while because we got a long stream today. But yeah, I'm really happy with this deck list. So if you're looking for a sweet aggressive deck to play, and then again, the one thing I like to mention is if you are someone who's trying to get into Modern on a budget, this deck's an excellent choice for that as well. This Horizon Canopy and these Cavern of Souls can easily turn into another forest and then unclaimed territories, and the deck will be reasonably affordable with that as well. All right, what are we doing next? Up next, we got Sultai Delve. So this is a deck that I'm expecting to get a bit of